So we got an update right now that I think everybody will want to hear, and it's a W for Diamante Kendrick. It might be a big L for the state. Let's get into it. Here's the entry of appearance from Harvey Westmoreland. Additionally, in December, Caleb Bumpus successfully got a bond $4,000 on one of the contraband cases. In the Superior Court of Fulton County, State of Georgia versus Diamante Kendrick, substitution of counsel and entry of appearance. Please substitute in and enter Bruce Harvey and Nicole Westmoreland, as opposed to Muhammad S. I don't know how to say that. I ain't even gonna butcher it. As the attorneys on record for the defendant, Diamante Kendrick, in the above captioned matter, this 7th day of January 2025, respectfully submitted, Bruce S. Harvey, Law Office of Bruce S. Harvey, attorneys for defendant, and then Nicole Westmoreland. Here we go right here. This is basically showing that they got a total bond for $4,000, and it's looking good, and obviously Kayla is the one who got it. Yak Gotti has retained legendary lawyers Bruce Harvey and Nicole Westmoreland for his remaining charges. Additionally, with his current lawyer, Caleb Bumpus, who has been representing him for free, successfully got his probation revocation hearing moved from February to tomorrow. We just had a second court date for YNW Melly, so I'll pin it into the comments. Other than that, let's get straight into it. So we already know who Bruce Harvey is. Y'all call him YSL Ponytail. I just call him the legend, you know. And if you've been with the channel for a minute, we had a hierarchy of our favorites. Not necessarily if they were the best, but just our favorites. Bruce Harvey definitely was number 2 on the list in the beginning. First was Keith Adams for obvious reasons. But what does this mean exactly? That means Bruce Harvey has thrown his weight around there. And I'm not saying that Caleb wasn't a good lawyer or nothing like that. I could never do that. And the fact that she was doing what she was doing, basically, free and all that, I would probably say that the family definitely is going to break her off something. I don't see these people leaving her in the cold like that. But that's actually a good thing for Kayla as well, because now she's free to answer calls from other people and whatever it is, because we didn't, as far as the public goes, the YouTube public, I don't know about the Atlanta streets, we didn't really know who Caleb Bumpus is, but now wherever she goes and everything like that, she'll be heightened. So it doesn't mean she wasn't known. But shout out to her. Shout out to her husband. Just came home, and I believe they're going to do a wedding or something like that. I seen on the internet. I didn't really check into it because I just feel like that's really weddings and stuff like that and everything. It ain't really my thing, but let's get into it. So at the hearing tomorrow, just remember, this is a hearing. The hearing tomorrow, we're going to find out more information. Bruce is going to get more discovery to figure out what's going on. Will he get out? It's highly doubtful that he'll get out, but I'm pretty sure the next court date will be the one where they get their bond and essentially fight the charges, bruh. F it. You got Bruce Harvey on your team. You got Nicole Westmoreland on your team. It's time to fight, bruh. The way in which the state has been operating, we already know, number one, they playing dirty. Number two, this is retribution. Number three, they're about to throw everything they have at the remaining YSL defendants. So he's still a remaining YSL defendant, even though he's the only one found not guilty of everything, which I believe the state ain't giving a doggone damn. So they just going to come at it with as much firepower as they can. And when we're really telling the truth about Yak Gotti and everything like that, and I know people keep on saying those who disagree and those who agree, if he was never in there, none of this stuff would happen. And this is a common practice that happens in Wright Street, my bad. But also to the state, I'm just curious, are y'all trying to force this man onto the freaking lawsuit that they have going right now? Because if I'm them, if I'm the state, this is just me from a pure litigation tactic. I'm thinking to myself, hey, bruh, yeah, let's let you out of here and drop all these charges. If you promise, if you write down, you're not going to sue us. Because his last court days, that man had staple in his head. Pardon me. That's on y'all. It doesn't matter how it happened, who was innocent, who was guilty of anything. That's on the freaking state. As far as it's concerned, you wouldn't give your dog or your pet to somebody and your dog and your pet come back and they messed up and you go, hey, man, my dog got a damn nail in his foot. What the hell happened? And then the person says, oh, man, we were walking and there was this damn bridge that was out. So we decided to step over the bridge because we could make it. You're going to go, why the hell did you step over the bridge? It's the same damn thing. Why are we putting people in these situations? And I don't understand why they are trying to force these people into this lawsuit. If I'm Diamante Kendrick's family, I'm ready for retribution, not only just to let him out, but I want y'all disbarred. I want people to look at this case. Man, I want money out of this. So I would think about all type of lawsuits, and that's Doug's wheelhouse. So we might see a Diamante Kendrick and a Doug Weinstein team up for a second time, and watch how they start to go after the state civilly, because eventually, well, after the county civilly, because eventually this crap got to stop. The only thing we can say that's positive about this is no matter what happens, let's just say he's guilty of all charges, he'll still have a freaking release date. But other than that, subscribe, turn on the bell, stay notified, and share to keep your people aware, and I will catch y'all in the next one.
And the statement with regard to the underlying factual basis, I would point out for the court that when Mr. Nichols filled out his form, it says 29 plus. He is a birthday boy in a couple of days and he will be 30. And at 30 years of age, he has a wife, he has got a 13-year-old daughter, he's got a 10-year-old daughter, and an 8-year-old son. His wife and sister, I believe, are here in the courtroom to support him. He, Mr. Nichols, was born and raised in Atlanta, and you know, we're at this point before I have even given my opening statement in this case.
Yes, sir.
I do want the court to know that Mr. Nichols' mother died in prison. His father was shot by the Atlanta police when he was 4 years old. And he was raised by friends and family in the Atlanta area. So he has come to this point in his life from a very humble beginning, and he has sought the support of friends in this courtroom and others in this courtroom. He is an intelligent young man who I believe has a future. Every day we do a word of the day. We put a new word into a sentence. And I think this is in his best interest. I know that there is, and I know this plea is negotiated, but it's a long downside from 7 to 20. So the courts will have jurisdiction over him for a period of time. So I ask the court, given who this young man is, and given our categorical denial of some of the factual basis, to accept the plea and sentence Mr. Nichols accordingly.
Mr. Nichols, is there anything that you want to say?
No, ma'am.
All right. All right. I find there to be a factual basis for the guilty plea to the RICO count one of the indictment, that being a conspiracy to acquire control or interest in money and personal property through a pattern of racketeering activity. And that is the only count that guilty plea is being entered for. The remaining counts of this indictment as against Mr. Nichols are being null pros by the state as a part of this indictment. I find, having heard the evidence up to the point of trial right now, that there is evidence of at least one overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy, and that there is evidence that would fall within the required statute of limitations to establish this RICO conspiracy count. One of the things that we as judges are instructed by our Uniform Superior Court rules to do when we are considering whether to accept a guilty plea and whether to accept a negotiated sentence, and this is a negotiated sentence in this case, is to take into account whether giving leniency in sentencing is going to aid in ensuring promptness and certainty, or at least more promptness and more certainty with regard to corrective measures, whether the defendant, and in this case the defendant has acknowledged guilt and is accepting responsibility for his guilt of the RICO count, and whether accepting the plea will aid in avoiding further delays, not just with regard to this case, but with regard to the entirety of our system here in Fulton County. And this plea does go towards doing all of those things. I am going to accept the plea as negotiated and sentence in accord with the negotiated recommendation. As I said before, find there to be a factual basis for count one of the plea. I find the plea to have been freely, knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily entered into by Mr. Nichols with an understanding of the consequences of doing that. And the sentence on count one is the sentence that has been negotiated of 20 years to serve 7, with the balance of those years to be served on probation. And that, I don't know if there are any special conditions attached to this that y'all have talked about at all.
There are no negotiated special conditions in those, so there are none as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Okay. So with regard to the time that you are on probation, you need to stay out of all kinds of criminal trouble. Make this a birthday present to yourself and to your children and to your wife and family, that you will leave from here today and leave whatever you used to do behind you, and take the next few years. You know, you're going to have some years that are still to be served on this. You'll have credit for the time you've already served, but you're still going to be facing some incarceration time. But after that, you are going to be out, and you, I believe Mr. Harvey is correct, can be a productive member of society, and this is an opportunity for you to do that and for you to put your past behind you, the bad parts of it, and continue and make your children proud of you and set a good example for them, an example that I guess unfortunately you were not lucky enough to have throughout the entirety of your childhood with your parents. I'm sorry about that, but you can be the kind of parent that you ought to be to your children. So I am going to impose that sentence, and I am going to wish you luck and good fortune as you go forth from here. So I think that unless there's anything else from either party, that will conclude these proceedings, and y'all can go ahead and take him into custody. Thank you.
Yeah, man, we just hit 200K. We on our way to 300, man. Subscribe today so you can find out how you can win an Xbox or a PlayStation, man. The details are on the way. This is how you know somebody is literally going to be in the drawing. Robin Minter, check him out, man. All we do is go down and we look and we see his subscriptions. Who does he have? That's Seti Nash right here. What also happens, take that off, top commenter. That right here, public subscriber. So that's what you got to do, and make sure you share each video, and then you'll be entered to win. Shout out to Mike. Good luck. Subscribe, turn that bell, stay notified, and share to keep your people aware. I'll catch you on the next one.